Every place you look, no matter how far it is, you will eventually see a wall. Whether you are in a house, in a car, in an office, or even in the great outdoors. This is so because even outside, in the open spaces, where humanity may have not put up any structures, your eyes, and all your physical senses for that matter, hit a limit as to how far they can perceive. Even as we look out into the great vastness of the open sky, our eyes eventually fail us and there is a point where we can see no more. And it is the case that those very distant clouds, moons, suns, planets, or the darkness of space, seem to be to us, from the perspective of our visual senses for example, to be flat things upon a distant wall. And whatever dimension that we may realize upon those distant and impossibly large things, is only possible through our unreasonable imagination. One could say then, that human life seems to be a linear stretch of time lived within some large cube or sphere. I personally don't mind certain aspects of this so much. There are many benefits to a cozy room, this living space, in that it can provide shelter and an environment where we can grow and expand as individuals. But what is of concern to me, and to more and more people at this time in history, is that the modern world, the modern rulership of the world, has deemed, nay commanded, that we humans are only a part of, and can only exist, in this one cube, this one room, and that other places, other dimensions as it were, other rooms, do not exist, cannot exist. Essentially, the modern rational rulership has shrunk the size of our potential existence, our universe, our reality, and has bound all of humanity to one small room they call the physical world, the rational world, reality, common sense, sanity, the real. And that rulership further pronounces, that to even contemplate the idea that our heritage as human beings is actually built upon a very large mansion, with many rooms, many dimensions, many causal possibilities, many other worlds besides the physical and the rational, is illusion, delusion, and insanity. So, if you follow the current line of what is accepted reality, the acknowledged norm of what is and what is not real, you are, like the rest of humanity, most tragically trapped inside an existence that is bound to walls upon walls, that make up finally the 6 sides of the cube, that now binds us to this profit-driven and most materialistic world. There is no getting out of this tiny room, this cube, according to the material view of reality I'm afraid, and if you think that you can or do on occasion, then according to such rational and materialist skepticism, you must be insane, or on some kind of pharmaceutical. This is an incredibly sad fate I think, but fortunately there is an ever-growing number of people that know of the walls and want to go past them. And perhaps you are one of those fighters, a person that is willing to work towards freedom from the rational rulership that imposes upon us the notion, nay the commandment, that all that is real and existent and actual and worthy, is whatever we can perceive, using the physical senses alone. I have always been a fighter myself, and as a result of my endless search for a crack in the wall of this tiny room that had trapped me, I discovered and then embraced the way of the inner alchemist, and from that perspective, I have taught myself how to travel without moving, and thanks to this I have come to know other rooms in the vast mansion that is our heritage, our complete home as human beings. I have even on small occasions have had the incredibly terrifying possibility of looking out past this vast mansion, into the infinite darkness beyond, and I have been literally ripped apart by the boundless possibility and gravity that awaits us all, out there. And upon assembling myself, and putting together all of my scattered pieces, I have realized that the odd little nobody that I had become, was even less than that nothing in the face of that eternity. And that I was just some joker then, from the point of view of the people trapped in the small room, those that wish and even imagine nothing more than that tiny cube and their materialistic world view. And, as some joker, I speak of supposed things that cannot be, and other places, other rooms, that cannot possibly exist, because these things of which I speak cannot be measured using rational rulership, for they are places and things that cannot be touched, seen, smelt, heard, or even tasted using the physical senses that help bind a very large portion of humanity to their tiny cube. But it has also been my great fortune to discover that I am certainly not the only fighter, that there are others, many others, and an ever-growing number that are looking for the cracks in the wall, that have perhaps gone beyond the wall themselves at times, and are trying to find ways to go past those walls again. Such a discovery gives this old and irrational joker hope, and perhaps a small place among humanity. A fitting place for a nobody and a nothing, a tiny place where I may quietly speak of things that aren't and of places that could not be. A place where I can, in the most logical, and yet irrational manner that I can, show others the techniques, the bucket of black paint that I used, to draw a hole in the wall and step through it. Do not fall wholeheartedly into the pit of reason, rationality, and the rule of common sense. Know that this small room we all share now has its good side, that it can be a warm and cozy room at times, that has and can help you to grow, but that there are other rooms, rooms where causality, where the cause and effect of things, the laws, are different. And to enter these rooms you will need to understand from the very beginning that you are more, that you have more senses, than the 5 that rule the pit of reason. You are worthy. You are far more than you may imagine, you are light without boundary. Know then that at this moment we humans are beings caught in an eddy, that is part of a very large and infinitely gorgeous river, a river that leads to a vast and boundless ocean, a dark sea. And know that we can pull ourselves out of this eddy. All we have to do is focus our unwavering attention on moving forward, on the vast ocean before us, on infinity. And believe me, we can all do this. You can do this if you want to do this. You are more than flesh, you are magic, you are surrounded by magic, life is a glorious adventure. And what stands between you and this dazzling immenseness is one flimsy wall. Never believe anyone that tells you that you can never escape this small room, that this is your only fate, your curse, your only reality until death. The idea that anything is linear, that it is bound by 5 simple senses, that it follows some simplistic idea of causality, or that the extent of your life is whatever followed some trajectory course from a beginning to an end, is the real illusion, and the real tragedy, in all of life. If you would like to know more about finding the cracks in the wall, about exiting the cube, then I recommend the book, The Way of the Projectionist. In it you will discover how to move within, which is really moving without, and how to travel without moving. I will leave the link to this book in the video description below.